Hello guys and welcome to the launch week madness on Yegalisk TV. With me in this virtual studio is the Jack Attack.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Awesome. I mean, this week is going to be a blast. We start off today with two great players, Root Sage, and he'll be playing against ESC Goody, both very solid players. And, you know, again, the conflict, a Korean versus a foreigner, this is all that the viewers want to see, I'm sure. And even to make that even more awesome, guys, if things aren't good enough so far, we are handing out copies of Heart of the Swarm for you all week long. So if you tune in after every single show match, we'll be doing 2 show matches every day, you can get a copy of Heart of the Swarm. What you need to do is just to subscribe us or follow us on Twitch TV, and that's it. So I have a fancy app that's I think called Twitch Giveaway, and it randoms out a person, a single lucky bastard from the chat that may receive the Heart of the Swarm copy. Why am I saying he may receive a copy? Because if he doesn't subscribe me, then he has just lost his opportunity. So make sure, guys, you subscribe me, because if I draw someone who's been naughty and not following, I'm sorry. I will make a sad face for you, but this is all I'll make, and we'll need to find another person. So right now the players are vetoing the maps, so let's give them some minutes. So Jack, how do you like Heart of the Swarm so far? And by the way, no spoilers. So if you spoil anything, this is the last time I talk with you.
None. So I keep a pretty strict sleep schedule, so I didn't play at midnight, and I woke up today and I've been working nonstop on the core and Chameleon, so I haven't played a single game of the campaign or Heart of the Swarm full release yet.
Right.
It's killing me. It's like I want to play the campaign so bad, but I have like so much other work to do. But I mean, it's gonna be a really great game. I love watching Goody play, especially in Heart of the Swarm.
Oh yes, he's been so powerful.
Super creative.
Yeah, so powerful with his mech play. Oh my god. So we will see how it goes. By the way, guys, tonight we are accompanied by a French and Polish streams, so we will have coverage in 3 different languages. I think we're becoming quite a nuisance on the StarCraft 2 scene, and that's good. That's awesome. Right, so the map is going to be Kespa Neoplanet S to start with. I like that. I wanted to say I like that planet. It has such a nice view. The horizon is so smooth, and when the when the snowstorm hits, you feel like it's Christmas. But
yeah, it's, the whole planet's a really good place to vacation. I've been there a couple of times. It's very nice.
It gets pretty rough at night with all those zombies chasing you, and all these beasts with claws that have learned how to survive in the roughest of conditions. But hey, we are StarCraft 2 casters. We have been born to do difficult stuff. Let me just check if we can see the game. Just a little bit of press stream testing. Yes, we can see the nice figure of Sarah Kerrigan, and we're waiting to be invited to the lobby. So once again, let me remind you, if you wonder about that, this picture contains all the information you need to have to know how to win a copy. We have 10 copies, one after every show match we have, of Heart of the Swarm, of course. And also we have 4 copies for our followers and subscribers and likers alike, across all the social media. You have the links on your screen. You will have the links on your screen all day long, so you can just go there and subscribe. And that's pretty much it. So there's a big chance you'll get your copy, to be honest. Yesterday we already had the first winner. That was a very spontaneous giveaway, because yesterday I found out that I have my first gray hair, which isn't something to celebrate usually, but since it was the launch of Heart of the Swarm, I thought, yeah, screw this. I'm sure more hairs will follow.
I mean, the thing is, you could look at it like, oh, I'm getting old, but you could also look at it as I'm getting wiser, and that you'll become
There's no point.
Veteran,
There's no point in getting older if you're not getting wiser.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Oh yeah. So let me just try to bring the scoreboard up, because I think that's a very important aspect. Having the scoreboard, where was it now?
Do you have to subscribe us everywhere to win a copy after Showmatch?
Okay, there is a question. Do you need to subscribe us everywhere to win a copy on the Showmatch? No, that's not necessary. You just need to subscribe us on Twitch TV. So we make it as lovely as possible for you guys. And here we have our lovely scoreboard. Yes, thank you. Alright, let me just add the information that this is going to be a best of 9. We're going to see a lot of awesome games tonight. Just to remind you guys that after this, we will be having Nurture playing against Snoot. So another epic show match, I would say.
Definitely. I think ZVZ is a lot more interesting in Heart of the Swarm with the changes.
Yeah. It seems Goody has some issue with connecting to the lobby. He's downloading the map or something.
Yeah, usually with the
that happens.
beginning of the game, gotta download the map.
So anyway, guys, what is your experience with Heart of the Swarm so far? Are you having the blast? Are you having a blast as much as we do, or you know, did you expect something else? And by the way, be warned that if you spoil anything, you will be my forsworn enemy, and I will ban you. I will ban you down, because if I see anything from the campaign right now, and just for the purpose of the argument, I will not be looking for the next 5 minutes. I know how rough you are, guys. If you say anything about the campaign, our mods will ban you down to the ground.
Yeah, that's why we gotta hop on the campaign as soon as we have a moment. I believe after casting these 2 show matches, I'll be jumping directly into the campaign, finishing as quickly as possible, so that way no one can spoil it for me.
Exactly. I have been on purpose avoiding all the forums now. All week long will be doing show matches in the evenings, and since I have a day job, it doesn't leave me a chance to play the campaign anyway. So I'll be playing the campaign you know, during the weekend, and I hope not to learn a single fact about it until then. Okay, it seems we are all good to set. All set to go and good. So let's do this.
All right.
Alright, I can already hear the beeps in the background, and that, my dear ladies and gentlemen, is the sound of the StarCraft 2 heart beating somewhere on Blizzard servers. So the first map, like we warned you, is a very snowy one. It has been a very chilly winter here in Poznań, in Poland, and right now it's outside the window. There's like -10 degrees Celsius and a ton of snow and frost and all the frost spikes.
Oh my god.
Yes, I mean, it has been started to be a very nice spring, and I have already stopped wearing any jackets when I went to work. But suddenly, the last weekend, there was a ton of snow basically dropped from the sky to the landscape. And one day I said, oh, I'm going to buy myself a roll for breakfast. And I went out and I saw so much snow, and I thought, oh, something went wrong. Rightio, so let's get this started, guys. Here we are at Kespa, Neoplanet S. Very snowy, very chilly, very wintry, but there are the players whose main objective is to cheer us up and to make the air hot with passion, guys. If that makes any sense. Here is, in the bottom left corner, Roots Sage.
And in the top right location, we have the Panzer General himself. It's Goody.
Yeah, I think, you know, below that thick armor beats something that's very warm and nice inside. Goody has a big heart. I wonder if the armor suits of Marines and SCVs are all, you know, protected in the same way against extreme heat and cold, because you can see playing, you know, Terran playing in variety of scenarios and maps. You can see them jumping across the chasms of lava. Sometimes they play on planets like this. There is even one map that's underwater, and I'm not sure how it was called. It was used in GSL last season, and once something got killed, it would just float up instead of being ripped apart and dropped to the ground.
Yeah, there was all kinds of new stuff recently too to the editor, so I can imagine that in the future we'll be seeing some other cool effects from the maps as well.
By the way, some people are asking if I have a green screen behind me. No, we are now in my new studio, guys. So we're getting more and more professional every day, and that's something you cannot stop once it started. So let's take a look at what Goody is doing. First of all, a very important note, he didn't go for gas first. I think recently the Reaper openings or Widow Mine openings have become very popular against Protoss, and we don't see anything of that sort. And that, by the way, if you go for that gas first, you hit a very critical timing, and you can usually get a couple of Widow Mines in your opponent's mineral line before he gets any sort of an observer. But Goody going here for a command center right after the barracks, maybe not a very ballsy move, but still risking a lot since he doesn't have the full scouting information on his opponent and is just checking right now. There could be anything there, guys.
Yeah, looks so far we just got some standard Wings of Liberty play, just with the run racks, fast expand. Doesn't try to chase the probe out of there. He says, all right, I'm just going to build my command center a little bit to the side, just lift it off and land it again. So he's going to lose a little bit of mining time from that, but almost negligible. That's kind of those things that you have the professional players doing, the very, very small advantages. Goody going to be throwing down his double gas now. We should see some tech out of him very soon.
Right, so like you said, right now is the moment for Sage to choose his tech, and we see him using the Chrono Boost on probes, which kinda says that, you know, this is not going to be an extreme aggression, but then, in the background, he has put down a Twilight Cancel, which can mean two things. Either he will go Blink Stalkers, or he will go for DTs, and DTs are cheaper to get. Maybe the unit itself is not cheaper, but the building to get it is just easier to get, and, you know, it costs less. So we will see in a second. What will it be? There is no Blink research so far. I think we'll be seeing a Dark Shrine.
Definitely possible. Oh, there's the Blink. There's the Blink.
Alright. So the Blink was researched. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Goody is going up to his factory now. Got that bunker down exactly at the time that the Stalker was showing up. So nothing will be able to get into the base at this point and see what's going on as far as speed is concerned. Throwing down a missile turret. He did scout the Twilight Council, so he's just crossing all his T's and dotting his I's, making sure that if anything, any DT action comes in, he'll be safe.
That's a very proper and safe reaction. More than that, he builds one more missile turret to be safe from drops, perhaps Oracle play, or by the way, sorry, let me get back one bit. This missile turret here is just for the sake of destroying an observer that would try to fly in, and what will happen if Sage doesn't predict that? He will try to get the high ground vision to blink up into Goody's main, and this missile turret will just shoot down the observer, because this is the obvious path for the attack, and one of very few on this map, by the way.
Yeah, actually, that's a really great point. I mean, I don't think that the chasm over at the northern area can be blunk over, so any sort of
never heard that one before.
Yeah, I don't know, blinked.
I'm not sure. You're the native speaker here, so I'll just play the dumb one.
Unfortunately, I failed you this time in the world of English.
Alright, so
it's a nice defensive position here.
Now, the one thing that worries me is that there is no Mothership Core on the map. It seems that Sage is rooting in for a very old style of play that we know from Wings of Liberty, and you need to know that right now in Heart of the Swarm the blink research takes additional 40 seconds, so it has been nerfed a bit. Oh, here it is. Mothership Core very late. I think it will be just in the nick of time for that attack, so he will not go for any sort of an observer, but still this missile turret plus a couple of well-armed marines should be pretty much enough to deal with the Mothership Core. The question is, will Sage go for the blink-in? Okay guys, this is getting intense, and the Mothership Core is there. It sees all the mess, and there is a blink. Oh my god, taking the siege tank, the second one goes down, and the Mothership paid for that with its own dear life, but then the Stalkers seem to be unstoppable, and Goody doesn't have enough ground force to stop that attack. All the Stalkers just wreaking havoc in Goody's base, and he has to subtract workers to defend that, and right now Sage can just blink down and save most of his force without any considerable losses.
Insane amount of damage. Oh my god. This is all this blinking going on. Yeah, and that's GG. I was gonna say,
oh,
really difficult to come back from a spot like that. Just a really well executed timing from Root Sage there.
Yes, you're exactly right. So Root Sage played extremely solidly. I'm not sure if he wanted to hit that exact timing, because Goody has hit a lot of what he was doing, and by the way, there was a siege tank, there were a couple of marines, so the way we looked at it, we would say, yeah, probably you don't want to go against that, right? But what Sage did was extreme precision and also some quick reflexes. So he didn't see what is above the ground, you know, above the cliff, and he blunk in, and then he spotted a siege tank. So bam, targeted with the first salve from the Stalkers. That's extremely fast, guys.
Yeah, I was trying to think how he could have defended against that. It looked like he was in a nice position, but it just wasn't enough. The Stalkers with the target fire were just... I mean, the siege tanks got off maybe 3 shots total between the two of them. It was just not a lot of damage coming out of them.
Okay guys, so since we have a bit of a downtime until the next map is going to be hosted, I would just like to remind you that we're having this huge Heart of the Swarm giveaway this week. We hand out copies of Heart of the Swarm everywhere. What you need to do is follow us on Twitch, and after every show match, after every best of 9 we play, we'll be giving out a free Heart of the Swarm copy to one lucky bastard found on the stream, picked at random. So you just need to know that if that lucky person is not a follower, he will miss the opportunity of his life of getting a free Heart of the Swarm copy for himself or his friends. Maybe his girlfriend, because I know lots of girls who play StarCraft, and that would be actually awesome. So let me just, guys, go away for a couple of minutes. We'll be right back, guys, so don't go anywhere. Okay, these guys are now vetoing the map. Sorry, not vetoing. Goody is just picking them up and will be hosting it shortly. There is some hassle regarding the servers today, because today is the day of the launch, and as you can imagine, people just swarm StarCraft 2 servers. It had to be expected, but hey, here we are. So anyway, we should have the next game starting quite soon. Don't worry about that. And yeah, how did you like the game first?
I really liked that first game. It was quite nice. I was hoping it would go a little bit longer. I really did. I was actually surprised that the tanks couldn't deal enough damage to hold off that attack.
That has been executed perfectly from Sage. I mean, I'm still not sure about the mothership core timing, because you could say that, you know, you may use it, you may have some uses for it earlier on to just scout what's on the cliff, and Sage basically took a huge risk by doing what he did, but it paid off. So he won the game number 1, and he will be going against Goody now.
Yeah.
We'll see. We may need to play some of the games on other servers, because, you know, the players suffer from some lag, and to balance that out, we're just playing on North American server right now. Okay, you can join the lobby.
1 second. You're not my friend on this one, and
No, I hate you now.
I have the maximum number of friends, so I need to delete some friends so I can add you as my friend.
Yeah, listen, so will you have a conversation with them? Listen, I've met this very cool guy from Poland, and he's kind of becoming my friend. I would like to add him to the list, but I need to remove you, sorry.
Sorry, I want a more international friendship list.
Yeah, why not? Alright, so the game number 2 should start shortly. We'll be right back. Alright, and the game number 2 has started, guys. I hope you can hear and see me quite fine, as well as my good friend Jack Attack, who's with me. By the way, you can always find Jack Attack. Could you be as friendly to spell your nickname to all that are to all who are watching, so they can find you?
Yep, you can find me at twitch.tv/THEJAKATAK.
Oh my god, that even rhymes.
I know, it's the best nickname that anyone's ever come up with, obviously.
Yeah, you can also find Jack Attack on our chat, because he's posting from time to time on the chat that's live right now, so it should be quite easy. So, okay, let's discuss. We have a PVZ, what I'm talking about. PVT again, Sage, with a very weird pylon placement. What? I imagine on this map, with such a huge main base, what he's probably trying to do is just to throw his opponent off guard, and maybe not hide, because, you know, how long can you hide a building inside your own base, but to place it somewhere where you don't check right away, and thus delay the scouting information.
Yep, a lot of people, players will do that, hide something that's totally normal. So that way, maybe the SCV comes in and doesn't see it right away, and oh my god, I'm getting proxied, there's no expansion, there's no gateway, and starts making some decisions, and maybe even overreacting based on that. And that can give you a little bit of advantage, and Sage loses almost nothing for that, because he's just building in a different location. He's building everything just like he normally does. Taking the 2 gases, we're probably going to see 2 probes on each gas after that in the cybernetics core. He pretty much does this every game that I've seen him play. So having this other pylon over here as well, throwing the cybernetics core over there likely.
But this kind of gives you a sense that that Sage has a very good idea about how much gas does he need at a certain point of the game. Many players slightly below the professional level or semi-professionals will go and just put 3 workers every time they build a gas geyser, but once you get down to the very details of, okay, so what is the time where I need all this gas then? And you answer that question, you know exactly what the time is, then you are able to come up with some very fancy builds, and this is what Sage is basically showing us.
And Goody is going to proxy factory. It's about to get scouted.
Oh my god.
Oh, and there it is. He knows it's there. That's proxy factory play. It's a really strong
all you
in,
naughty boy.
but it's not going to work out this time for Goody as it does get scouted nice and early. So he's going to have to go to plan B on this one.
He tries to complete it. It may just finish, so he'll be able to lift it off. I think he tries to complete it. If he manages to, then it will be just enough to lift it up. Yay! And it's saved.
No, he's putting out the Widow Mine. He's going for it. He's going for it.
Alright,
Having a cloaked unit that early is a very, very strong thing. The Mothership Core coming back. It looked like he was going to put some pressure on with a Zealot and a Stalker, but he's trying to hold this off. Any sort of detection... Yeah, we have no detection anywhere right now. It seems
Sage will be trying to make his stand here, so he wants to delay the Widow Mine as much as possible. And remember, Widow Mine has enough damage. Oh, will it burrow?
Oh,
no!
Nice.
Just a second away from burying and killing that Stalker off, or maybe a Zealot, whatever. It would get a unit. And right now, Goody is in a bad spot with all of this.
Really nicely done, just camping the production facility, so as soon as that mine comes out, he can deal with it.
Oh, another Widow Mine will go out. Will Goody have reflexes enough to burrow it? Second again, no! That's too much firepower from Sage, and Goody didn't manage to do any sort of damage. But then a very...
Marines and Marauders.
Carry on.
Oh, sorry, we got a bunch of Marines and Marauders. They picked off one of the Stalkers, 3 Stalkers now. They're going to be able to get this Zealot very likely. And he's continuing to send a Marauder across the map. He stopped building Widow Mines. Nope, and there he is. He's back to building Widow Mines, so the attack will continue. In the meantime, Sage trying to get an expansion up during all of this, and he's defending it with one gateway and a Mothership Core. He's building his robotics facility now. But really, really nice low economy defense from Sage.
And Goody
he's not going to be able to get this Widow Mine that's coming out, though.
No, Goody keeps up the pressure, and that's working so good for him. I was afraid that losing all those 2 Widow Mines was awful, but he was able to swing around and pick up 3 or 4 Stalkers. And by the way, I'm not sure if you can hear it, but there's some nice freaking music in the background with the nice Heart of the Swarm soundtrack that probably people are just trying to discover right now. Such epic notes, don't you think?
I actually haven't even listened to the new. I didn't even think. I play with the music off so I can focus, but I'm actually gonna turn the music on right now.
Heretic.
So I can hear it.
And by the way, huge props go to the people at Blizzard who work on the soundtrack. Every game they make, they deliver the best quality soundtracks for the games you could ever hear. But anyway, Goody now going to a defensive stance. He's taking his own expansion. The problem is, of course, that Sage already has his own, and he's trying to use the remaining health of this factory, trying to get some scouting information, and he will know, okay, Sage has been running with this expansion for some time. I'm probably safe to assume my own. He is aware that, okay, I'm a little bit delayed, so I need to be careful, but then he also goes for an extra orbital command in his own base to speed up the process of getting all the workers set up for the expansion. I think Goody should be doing just fine right now.
Yep, going for Bao is a really interesting decision. He sacrificed the factory that he might have been able to try and save and take home to get some scouting information. He did see which gases were taken, and he did get to see a little bit of the production of Sage, but he is not really going to need the factory, I guess, since he's going Bio, but we'll see.
And Sage right now is going for Colossi, I think. He's going for a robotic bay. Now I'm a little bit concerned with the placement of buildings around the robotic facility, because sometimes you get a Colossi stuck between the buildings. I'm not sure if that will be the case, but I can imagine that a missed rally point could cause that Colossi to stick between the pylon and the gateways. That would be a mess.
Yeah, it looks really close. It's kind of difficult to call. Normally I would know, but I'm not 100% sure on this one. It looks like it's going to come out of the side between the Nexus and the warp gate in the top right area.
Yeah, it most definitely seems so. Right now, Goody going for drops. By the way, guys, you should be aware that this is highly unusual of Goody. He is normally known as the Panzer General. You could... Perhaps someday he will move on to play World of Tanks, but for now, when he was playing StarCraft, he is most well known for playing mech. And it seems he's trying a different strategy now. The question is, will that work out for him? The Medivacs with the speed upgrade, the speed boost just implemented in them are so powerful, and it seems Goody is willing to explore and dip his toe in the pool of opportunity here.
Yep, it's looking pretty standard Wings of Liberty style type stuff.
Yep.
But Goody's gonna have the advantage that speed medevac tries to do a little bit of damage, manages to depower the robotics bay for a bit.
Except the Siege Nexus, right? So you couldn't experience the Siege Nexus in Wings of Liberty. That has been added with Heart of the Swarm.
Yep. Yeah, so you have the speed boost versus the Siege Nexus, or the Planetary Nexus, or the official term is Photon Overcharge, but I think it's much too many syllables for any of the casters to attach onto, so I'm sure one of the phrases will be much shorter and sillier.
How was the Hellbat first called? I think when the beta came out, or even before that, they called it... how was it called? It had a different name than a Hellbat.
Battle Hellion.
Battle
and
Hellion,
before that,
yeah.
Actually, it was in the hotkey file. It's called Hellion Tank. So very originally, in probably one of the alpha builds, it was called the Hellion Tank.
So hey, yeah. So Hellbat was just renamed after that. And you know, by the way, during the midst of battle, you don't want to be babbling around. Oh, and the battle, oh, again, please. Oh no, Hellbat is just so much simpler for the casters and for the players. So anyway, we'll have a nice skirmish here. A
nice
lot of force builds.
Just barely keep this Colossus alive.
The Colossi goes down. And the Vikings
really
land to help along.
It's gonna be really tough to defend.
Oh yeah, and Goody is on the move, and you cannot stop him right now, except with the
the Planetary Nexus,
the Planetary Fortress, the Planetary Nexus. But he will
go. Get a third though.
Exactly. So he will go for this one, and that should pay off quite nicely, especially having in mind that Sage has just lost a very important part of his army, which is the Colossi. He will of course produce more, but there is only one robo in his base as far as I'm aware. We can even check that.
Goody making the push.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sage is in a world of trouble right now. Can he defend it? Goody is making a push against this Planetary Nexus, and it seems he succeeds. There is a huge bunch of High Templars. Yeah, and they don't have storms. Oh my god, this has...
energy.
This
has have one storm for this entire battle.
This has been a crucial timing for Sage, and Goody with a nice spread. And a GG for Goody. A very well played game, even though Goody was playing outside his comfort zone with a bio army instead of a mech one. Wow, this has been so good.
Oh man, that was intense.
That was intense, and this is why we love Heart of the Swarm, guys. Heart of the Swarm, the best game ever. So anyway, let's give the guys a chance to host the next map, and yeah, wow, the game was really good, and this only shows the potential of Heart of the Swarms. All the things, all the additional things above the Wings of Liberty that you can do in your gameplay, it just makes the game more intense, and I think it will also make a slight change in the meta game, where players will no longer be able to play perfectly. as we got used that some of the Koreans, some of the Koreans got to that level because they play for 15 hours a day at times, and they have been extremely difficult to play with because the meta game got a little bit standard, and there wasn't too much surprising you could do with Wings of Liberty. So it was still a very hard game, but very predictable too. With Heart of the Swarm, there are just so many things to do that I'm not sure that anyone will be able to follow all of them. So anyway, guys, let us know how you like this. Post on the chat. You could also go to our thread on Team Liquid and let us know how you like this this whole initiative. We are calling this the Launch Week Madness. I'm just posting the link to the topic on the chat right now. There are 15 copies of Heart of the Swarm to win. You just need to follow, subscribe, like, or whatever whatever you guys do with the social media. If you follow us,
whatever your favorite thing to do is,
yeah,
go ahead and do that. If you're a Facebook person, Facebook it up. If you're a Twitter person, tweet. Whatever you do.
So we have a copy for every social media, one for Facebook, one for Twitch, one for Twitter, one for YouTube, and and also after this show, we'll also giving out one copy to one lucky viewer from the chat. So if you're watching this live, don't go anywhere, because at the end of the series, we'll be drawing one prize from amongst from amongst the people that are watching this right now. But be sure to follow us, because if I find that the person who has been a lucky winner isn't a subscriber, then I'm sorry, I will need to carry on and find someone else, and that will make you a very sad face, I believe.
That'd make me a very sad face.
Oh yes,
absolutely.
So Root Sage is having some trouble deciding on the map he wants to go with, so let me just cheer him up, and I'll be back in a second, guys. Alright, we are already all in the lobby, waiting for the next game to start. The map is going to be the New Kirk. Precinct? What is a Newkirk?
Yeah, the Newkirk precinct. Yep. It's
Is it-
another word for Newkirk City. I've been trying to figure out what the difference is between Newkirk City and Newkirk Precinct, and I hadn't been able to figure it out yet.
There probably is one small badge on one of the buildings that just says the different name.
Yeah, I spent some time looking. I looked all the rocks. No, you know, the rocks are in the same place. The bases are in the same place.
Wow.
Like, it looks the same.
Rightio. So here we go. The map is Newkirk Precinct. Is that the way to spell it?
The precinct.
Precinct. All right.
Yep.
You learn something every day. Rightio. So here in the bottom left corner we have Sage from Root Gaming. He is from Korea. He is one of the up and rising stars of the Korean StarCraft 2 scene, trying to make a blast in the Western audience and Western scene. This is why he's participating here. And
In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we have the greatest tank user of all time. Maybe. It's Goody.
okie dokie guys, so after the last game, Goody has shown us that he's not only comfortable playing mech, but he is also comfortable playing some good old standard biome play. And the very interesting fact is that he has managed to pull the game out of a very unsuccessful proxy factory play. And you know, you may say, oh, but he didn't lose much. Yes, but when your proxy gets discovered, this is where you need to get your game plan, mash it together, and throw outside the window. It's done. There is no game plan starting then, and he has managed to get back on his feet after that loss, and it's so impressive.
Yeah, it was a really well thought out follow-up. I'm sure it's sort of planned out, and you know, it's like, all right, this is what I do. I do this push with the Widow Mine. I also have the bio units mixed in there to protect the Widow Mine, because he didn't fly away. He said, all right, nope, I know exactly what to do in this situation. That's what I'm gonna do, and it was a really strong push. I mean, last game, Sage had his third expansion first, and he was going for double forge. He did not have a lot of units at all, so it was a pretty greedy play
And
by
also,
Sage that game, and it got punished pretty hard.
And also, it came down to just milliseconds, I would say. Once the Widow Mines were out, maybe if they just burrowed a fraction of a second earlier, the last shot may not reach them, and then it would change how the game plays out. But
yeah,
hey,
absolutely.
you know, it was still very intense to look at. So anyway, this just proves the point that Heart of the Swarm is the game to be playing in 2013, so I hope you join the community. And by the way, if you're not a huge StarCraft fan, just consider this: StarCraft 2 is the best community out there and is by far, I think, the best esport. I still like the other games, but StarCraft 2 has such a great community, such a very active community, that's most important. And there are so many things to do around here that's, you know, it's the place to be, guys, in 2013.
Yeah, and we had a really cool play here from Goody. He mined just enough gas to get the reactor on the barracks, stopped mining gas for a while, and now he's put them back on again. So it's almost like the Zerg getting the Zergling speed, except it's now the Terrans getting the reactor with just enough gas. So pretty cool stuff coming out of Goody here. Gonna have the bunker up and be taking his expand pretty quickly.
So we have a bunker here. Now this bunker can serve two purposes. First of all, it doesn't tell Sage what is behind that bunker. So Sage sees the bunker. He may try to risk some going after it. Oh, but here we have a mothership core, but then a misstep, and Sage may actually lose the mothership core, and it escapes just by an inch. One shot from one angry Marine, and I can already imagine this Marine, let's call it Frank for the sake of the argument, waving his fist madly at the sky with this mothership core escaping. Oh, Sage had luck here.
Yeah, and Sage a little bit of a run by past the bunker to see if the command center indeed was flying out, and it was, so he knows for sure that there is an expansion from Goody, so he doesn't have to wonder about that, so he can breathe easy. He's not worried about any crazy all-ins. He's going to be pushing out an Oracle pretty soon for some more harass.
Yeah, an Oracle play in Heart of the Swarm. By the way, did you watch IEM, the finals in Hanover?
I did. I did watch IEM.
What I
It was
noticed,
pretty phenomenal.
it was, but what I noticed is that a lot of the players there didn't seem to have too much Heart of the Swarm exposure, and it was actually a rarity to see a Heart of the Swarm unit there. Wouldn't you agree with that? There have been some games basically that that would orbit around Heart of the Swarm, but eventually I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think that like Rhett and Snoot were messing around with the Swarm host a little bit in PVZ, which was really fun to check out. But yeah, so I think that it's gonna take time for people to switch over and start getting into the new units and things like that. But you know, it's also a lot of builds that are slightly tweaked to deal with the new units, and to sort of, despite the fact that they're not building new units, but they have to deal with the new units. So the Paras has to do a different build because they have to worry about Widow Mines and you know, and things like that. And there's just so many units. Like I would consider the Muta a new Heart of the Swarm unit. You know, I would consider the Hydralisk a new Heart of the Swarm unit.
That's a very good
so
point.
There's so many changes.
What I think I lacked when I was watching IEM was the extensive use of oracles, which I think we saw in all of the tournaments that we run here in Yagarisk TV, and the Swarm hosts. So these two units I think were kind of underappreciated in IEM. But hey, you know, players are still experimenting with stuff. Oh, such a good Widow Mine, yes.
And did you see that micro? He pulled his workers that would have gotten hit by the Widow Mine splash to the side at the moment that the Widow Mine fired off, and then he put them right back in the gas. I love it. Oh my god.
Goody's
really nice
so
play from
strong.
Goody.
And by the way, let's just check his APM, because he used to be the slowest professional player. You know, I'm not saying this to offend him, but with his mech play, he didn't really require too much APM, and he used to play very slow. Now, with Heart of the Swarm, he has been practicing so hard and has been a complete new brand of a player, to be honest. Not only having a perfect mech play, but also his biocomposition so good.
Yep, and he's just a really efficient player. He may not make as many actions as a lot of the other players, but every little move that he makes counts that much more because he has to make it count. He plays at about half the speed right now as Root Sage, but because his decision making is so strong.
A couple of Vikings and
and is he gonna get the mine out? Oh no! That wasn't. I mean, there was the observer right there, but there's actually a trick. That it depends the order that you pick the units up.
Yes.
Will depend on the order that they're dropped off. So if you want something like the Widow Mine to be dropped off first, you want to put it in the particular orders that happen.
So
and,
do you need to put it
Goody
in first or the last? So is it last first? Sorry, last in, first out, or first? How does it work?
I believe, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't checked
We are
this in a while,
believers.
but I believe that it is first in, last out. So whatever unit you load in first will be... Oh, I'm sorry, first in, first out. I'm sorry. So whatever unit you load in first will be the first one that gets unloaded. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on it.
Alright, some nice harassment with the Phoenixes. That's, you know, that's good enough. And by the way, they could try to go for the Hellions, but because Hellions are, you know, light units, so Phoenixes deal extensive damage to them. And by the way, Sage just thinks, okay, I'm comfortable enough with all of this, so let me just take this expansion here at the top. And right now, he's just... we see that, you know, he's just showing off. He's flexing his muscles. Instead of going full-on attack, he's preparing Goody to be defensive. And this always puts you in a mindset that you're afraid to be expansive. And in fact, there is not so much threat around the map for Goody, and he could easily expand and take his third. But with these couple of units, Sage is just preventing Goody to march out.
Yeah, and he's using that contain to take a third and take up the Tempest. 2 Tempests coming out right now. So again, we have this very, very high tech level coming out of Root Sage while taking the third.
Did you see that?
And Goody's gonna be moving out.
Sage has just moved an observer, and there was a Widow Mine perfectly placed on the edge of the map, of the ramp. and Sage kind of anticipated it will be there, so he moved in with Stalkers just to pick it off, and he didn't lose a single one of them.
He didn't even lose the Observer, I don't think. So
yeah.
Very well played.
So even more harassment right now, and going after the Vikings with the Phoenixes, but I don't think they will be enough. And Goody, oh, by the way, in the meanwhile, great example of his multitasking. He just secures an expansion. That's exactly what he needs right now, and that will put him up to par with Sage's play.
Yep, really nice harassment so far from Root Sage. We have 12 workers killed from Root Sage, and Goody has killed none so far. So Goody's kind of on the back leg, not necessarily a bad thing. He probably wants that. It seems to be his posturing right now. He's going to move out when the time is right.
And another relentless drop from Sage. I think this is where Sage kind of excels, as we said. He is a faster player, and there's no sense denying it. In StarCraft 2 there are so many ways of winning. You can win by strategy, by a build order. You can win by getting a perfect read on your opponent. You can win by just playing faster, because if you're playing at the speed of 500 APM, that means actions per minute. You don't need to understand the game all that well, some would argue. So you know, Sage may try to exploit the fact. Oh, by the way, did you see the placement? 4 siege tanks of Goody have been picked off by only 4 Zealots there, and Goody has lost most of his defenses. Very solid play by Sage, and he just picked Goody apart piece by piece.
Yeah, nice. And he had 6 Tempests at home waiting for the big push later on. So I mean, just really excellent harassment, just finishing Goody off there.
Alright, so the next map is going to be chosen by Goody, but so far we have a very even show match, a very even series. After this, I just wanted to remind you that we will have Nerdshow playing against Snoot, 2 very good players, and we will see some ZVZ. And by the way, guys, ZVZ in Heart of the Swarm is not as boring as it used to be in Wings of Liberty.
Absolutely, a lot of new stuff going on in ZVZ. The Muta, very strong, as I'm sure you folk in the chat have been saying.
Yeah. Alright, guys, so anyway, we're off for a short commercial break, a couple of minutes to let the gamers cool off after the match and host the next map. We'll be back soon, and by the way, here are all the rules. How could you get your free Heart of the Swarm copy if you follow us and if you just watch us this week? Alright guys, the next game is up, and it will be on Cloud Kingdom. One of the, well, maybe not oldest. It has been introduced rather late in Wings of Liberty, but it has stayed for a long while. And with a start of nice pleasantries from both of the players, good luck, have fun. We'll be having another epic TVP. And here, spawning in the top right position, we have Goody from ESC Gaming. And we have the Jack Attack, who's not listening and paying attention and sleeping on your class. Oh, and you are late with your homework. That's an F.
No,
Class dismissed.
I said the whole thing and the microphone was muted. Oh yeah, but it's not now. You can hear me. Fantastic.
Yeah.
But yes, we have Root Sage, who is up in the series right now.
Yeah, a very important thing to remember, and it happens to me very often. You know, you need to consider that if you're muted, people just can't hear you. So it happens, you know. We're still not in the age of telepathy. That would be awesome, actually. StarCraft 2 playing and casting via telepathy. So you could
That'd be
hear.
quite intense.
Oh, that would be even better than stereo sound and full HD. You could see the game inside your head, and the commentators. Oh, Inception gets a whole new meaning here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd be kind of creeped out, to be honest. People in my head and stuff. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I would just have a nice lobby for them, you know. I would probably need to tidy things up in my head before I do that, but
yeah, get everything, you know, organized before they come over.
right, but you know, sorry for that sidetrack. Let's focus on the game again. We have Sage, who went for only one assimilator. There's a cybernetic score. I would vote, or I would try to place my bet, that he'll be going for an expansion first, and on this map it's relatively easy to defend it. Although, when you play against Terran, it is also easy, especially with the new Medivacs, just to swing around, try to attack from the front, then swing your Medivacs and drop them in your main. So, you know, it's kind of two-edged sword here for Sage if he goes for early expansion. We will see in a second, I guess.
Yeah, this is a really brutal map for those speed Medivacs. We saw it at IEM over and over again on this map. It's just really, really difficult as pros to defend against the Terran with the speed Medivacs. And we're gonna have to find out. Going right for the factory and a tech lab is Goody, so not the build that we saw last game.
No,
Something a little different for us this time.
I think he will just go for a Widowmine and Marauder push. That's a build that has been very prominent recently. So it's a variation. You can do the factory as a proxy. You know, when you're a Terran, you don't need a power grid like Protosses. You can just build Widowmines right away. And hey, so this build will be composed of a couple of Marines, 2 or 3 Marauders, and 2 or 3 Widowmines. Depends on what timing is Goody trying to hit. And he will not have any Medivacs for this specific timing push, and if he succeeds, it will be extremely powerful. Now he sees that there are some forces coming his way. There is a Mothership Core and there's an expansion for Sage, so if Goody executes this very well, he may deal tons of damage. And oh, just yes, barely got the damn Zealot here, and right now we'll be probably moving out. Yes, so he does.
Yep, the Widowmine just getting in time to get that shot off, and the defenses had a little bit of pressure out of Sage, trying to take that expansion. But I don't know if he's going to be able to hold it with just one gateway. He has 2 more on the way, but I don't think they're going to be ready in time. It might just be ready in time for this attack to hit.
Yeah, free gateway is the usual follow-up after you go 1 gate expand. That's very standard from what you used to have in Wings of Liberty. Sage will be, of course, trying to delay this as much as possible, but Goody doing a very good job of saving his Widowmine. He could burrow it right under the Mothership, I believe, and he'll do just that. But Widowmine is barely not enough to be able to kill the Mothership. But there's another one,
Widowmine
and
number 2.
will it? Please hold
man,
me!
Right out of range, just at the last moment.
So close.
The detection capabilities are... Oh, he canceled one of the gateways and replaced it with the robotics facility.
Uh-oh, and
He's
yes!
having some trouble with this push.
Now is the time where Sage starts to be afraid. Marauders are extremely powerful against Stalker, guys. If you have just started playing StarCraft 2, that's fact number 1 you should remember from tonight. And oh, a couple of probes. You know, Sage is Sage is trying to minimize his losses, and that's all he's doing. He doesn't have enough force to deal with everything here, and the Widow Mines will recharge, and another just by an inch. This Zealot doesn't even know how lucky he was.
But he's camping the ramp with a couple of Widow Mines. Widow Mines do one-hit Stalkers as well as Zealots, so
this Stalker
should be able to get some more damage off.
Well, all of this is so close, wouldn't you agree with me?
Yep, just barely missing the proximity of the Widow Mines.
But Sage will go
back. He pulled back. He was about to lose that one.
And Sage right now. Oh, by the way, surrounding a Widow Mine with surrounding the Widow Mine with workers, not the best idea ever. Oh, and another one destroys, I think, another worker. So, you know, Goody with 2 Widow Mines left has a very good contain on Sage's base, but Sage has a pylon here, and he will be going for a very ballsy move. And you know, I'm kind of concerned that Goody took too much advantage and tried to build too much inside his own base, and right now may have trouble defending. In fact, he has to pull the workers. He has 1 siege tank, but will that be enough? Oh, so much splash damage for the workers. The Zealots rip the siege tank apart, but then all the angry workers with wrenches in their hands just mash the Zealot apart. And will that be enough? It seems it will, and Goody defends this, and he will be able to secure this expansion nice and easy, no worries.
Really nice hold. The big issue for Goody at this point in time, though, is that he's down on the worker count, 27 to 43. So he's really going to have to make some sort of a harass or some sort of damage happen relatively soon if he wants to get back into this game. The longer it goes on, the more ahead Sage is going to get with this one.
That's exactly right. So Sage right now, he pulled back all the, you know, 2 survivors, 2 lone survivors, 2 cowboys that managed to get back from the Wawa West. And right now they'll just be camping out in the middle of the night near the Zelnaga Tower. Oh no, they'll just return to the hometown to replenish some supplies and maybe spend a night at a nice inn there. We have 3 barracks for Goody. We have a factory. Let's sum up what we have here, guys.
We actually had, for Sage, we had double Stargate rather, and he canceled both of them, built more gateways and robotics. He's going to go for a forge as well.
That's interesting. And now we see a ton of buildings for Sage. I think Sage has a good sense of the game. He knows that, you know, he put some pressure, he has been pressured himself, but he imagines that Goody's instinct will be try to establish the third. So, in the meanwhile, Sage is just trying to get a very awkward timing. He added a lot of gateways, and with a robotic facility, he may just try to hit some awkward timing with his attack, knowing that the opponent may may extend himself too thinly.
Yeah, and we're gonna have no range from Colossus coming out just yet. No Colossus coming out. There we go. There's the first Colossus, and there's the range. 5 gates and robotics. It looks like he's gonna make some sort of a push on 2 bases. If I had to make a guess with this kind of a production setup.
It certainly seems so. So, we'll see. I think. Yeah. So Sage with this Warp Prism is going for a drop play because, you know, drop play is usually fine in StarCraft 2. And by the way, I wanted to mention something with Heart of the Swarm. You can notice that every race has gotten even better at harassment. So Terrans obviously got the Medivac. Then we have the Protoss who got the Oracle upgrade. And, you know, for the Zergs, the addition of the Burrow in the Tier 1 is just a blast in my opinion, and we have already seen some great examples of how to utilize that on IEM, but I think, you know, with more time people will just learn how to utilize it even further.
Yeah, we have a big attack moving out from Goody. He's got a couple of tanks and some bio. It's going to be fairly strong.
When I spoke to Sage before this show match, he was fairly confident that he should beat Goody, but it doesn't look so easy right now, does it?
Oh, not at all. Especially that the game that he lost, he was playing very confidently and very greedy, and seems to Seems he's pulled back a little bit from that.
Oh, and Goody moves in with the attack, swings around, and oh, he doesn't get the immortal. I think he misses some Vikings in this attack with, you know, with the Colossi and force fields. It is just too easy to pick the terrain apart. But then with a good siege tank support, I don't think that Sage has a much standing chance of winning this, not getting too many losses. So let's check the losses tab, and in fact, yes, Sage has lost even more units than Goody does, and at the same time Goody has defended a run by and the drop we mentioned earlier with a couple of units in his natural. So for now, Sage is continuing the relentless pressure with his drops. At the same time, he barely held his natural. As you can see, it's already on yellow health, and this game is pretty even, guys. Pretty damn even.
Yeah, Goody with a little bit of an advantage as far as upgrading goes, but the supply advantage in army and I believe in harvesters is going to go. Yes, is going to go for Root Sage. Third command center is and I believe has been up and running. Is not. Oh yeah, the armory is a little bit late here, so he's not going to be able to get his 2/2 right away.
And Goody going for a Reaper. I mean, Reapers have lost a lot of damage, but then they are very fast and useful units which replenish health and can be used as a very good scouting tool. So he goes exactly for that. So right now, Sage is just trying to stabilize his game, and he went for the third Nexus. Right now, the only thing that worries me is the timing on Goody's expansion. He, of course, is going for a full saturation on his bases, but as you can see, he is already oversaturated on his natural, and he just may be too cautious to try to take his own third.
Yep, and Root Sage is going to be pushing his army advantage by taking that third. Couple of Vikings.
Not so good. He needs those Vikings to fight the Colossi, but then he has a couple more, should be enough. A couple of siege tanks, a nice Bioforce, and in fact, oh, you know, Sage has to retreat here, and Goody taking down one Colossi, will another go down? It seems so. He doesn't even have enough force to stop all these Vikings, and they will just be able to chase the Colossi down. The Stalkers try to evacuate, and this Colossi sacrifices himself to try to you know, divide Goody's attention and save some of his own. But then there's another drop, you know, the War Prism paid with his own dear life for these zealots to be able to drop here, but they didn't do any damage eventually. You know, maybe 1 or 2 SCVs, but what's that in the grander scheme of things?
Yeah, that attack really hurt Sage. It was a bit of an overextend. He didn't really get any damage done. He lost all those Colossus, which take a long time to replace, and looks like Goody's going to go for the counter push.
Alright, so, but, oh, I would say that this force is probably more dangerous than it looks like. Let's check the upgrades, by the way. We have 1-1 for Sage and 1-1 for Goody, so it isn't looking as bad for Goody as we may think, but still, all these Zealots and, you know, with too many force fields.
He's gonna try to snipe the Nexus, maybe.
Oh, and it seems...
Nope, he takes down Colossus.
And the Colossi goes down. There's a lot of Stalkers left, and the Vikings are useless in this fight. A huge Zealot force comes in to clear the Bio army, and Goody has to retreat, and has to retreat very fast. The siege tanks are not a very good line of defense here, left out with the Zealots alone, and Goody just now choose the moment to take an expansion. I don't think that it's generally not a good idea to take an expansion just after you lose a battle, because what will happen, of course, is that your opponent will go with a very strong counter-attack, and the question is, will Goody have enough force to defend this, or will it lose?
Going right into the natural now, and
right into the main.
So fast and naturally is going directly into the main.
Wow! To cut off all the production, that's so smart and very.
That is really crippling. It'll be incredibly difficult for Goody. He doesn't have the forces at all to deal with this really big force for Protoss.
Goody, even with a very small force, he may still defend it with a nice technical play. He still has one siege tank here, a couple of Vikings, no, but the army of Goody just crumbles down, and it seems Sage might have won the game even after suffering so heavy losses. Oh, Goody is in a very bad spot right now, being surrounded from all sides, and retreating back to his main with the workers to try and defend some more. Of course, he's clinging to his life. He doesn't want to surrender too early, but this looks like a GG for me.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like checkmate. once you get on top of the production structures of a Terran player, if they can't beat you with the army that they have, it's pretty much over.
And it seems Goody is done. He may be trying to invent something or just, you know, extend his defense to annoy the opponent before the next game, and he GG's right now, and Sage takes game number 3, sorry, his 3rd victory, that's what I meant, and with a very strong play from both sides. I wasn't expecting this level because, you know, some of the players have been on a 2-week break because, you know, Heart of the Swarm beta was out. Most of the players said, nah, I'm not going back to Wings of Liberty to play for these 2 weeks, it doesn't make sense, perhaps I would miss on some of my timings when Heart of the Swarm releases, so they were just having a vacation break, and now with gold solid performance they have just went back here and you know, they are here to kick asses and chew bubblegum, and guess what? They are all out of gum.
Oh, all out of gum. That's terrible.
Yeah. Oh,
Poor
where's my
Goody.
strawberry gum? Oh, that makes me so angry. Ah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. That engagement was really great by Goody, and overall he was being a lot more cost efficient than Sage. But he thought he was at an advantage when he was at a disadvantage, and he pushed across the map, and it sealed his fate right there.
Yeah. Alright guys, so anyway, I wanted to remind you that there's this huge contest, a huge giveaway we do. We have more than 15 copies of Heart of the Swarm itself to give out to you for free. If you just follow us, subscribe us, we'll be handing over 1 copy to 1 lucky person after this show match, so be sure to follow us because you know, I'm using this fancy app on Twitch that picks a random person from the chat. And if that person isn't following us, then I'm sorry, I'll just give you a sad face and you won't win your copy, you won't make your day, and some other person will be very happy with that. Yeah, and by the way, you know,
absolutely.
Just calling, you could call me out, mate, you could say that, you know, on Twitch it's called follow, not subscribe, whatever, you know,
Yeah,
you are smart,
is...
beautiful, intelligent people, you know what I mean.
Yeah. Subscribe on Twitch is actually a different meaning. You can subscribe on Twitch and you can follow on Twitch. They're 2 different things. So
you can...
to win, you don't have to subscribe. You just have to follow. That is all.
Right. By the way, it seems Goody can find Antigua. Anyway, we'll be back after a very short commercial break, so don't go anywhere. Make sure to follow, not subscribe, follow, and you may win a Heart of the Swarm today. By the way, Jack, do you know that they are choosing the new Pope now?
I had absolutely no idea they were choosing the new Pope now. I don't keep up on my Pope news, unfortunately.
And you didn't get the invite to the game?
No, I didn't. No.
And we already...
I'm currently the last picked in the...
Oh my god.
No, at the gym. But that's fine. That's fine. It's no problem at all.
I can't even type the players right now, sorry. Can you cast watching the stream?
Absolutely.
So sorry, they started the game without consulting me. They are so eager to kick asses because we realized they ran out of bubblegum. So hey, anyway, regarding the new Pope, you know, I've heard rumors that the old one resigned because he wants to be a professional in Heart of the Swarm.
Makes total sense. That's what I would do if I were Pope.
Yeah, so, you know, he will apply to a team like LGIM and he will say, yeah, they will ask him, so what have you been doing for a living? Yeah, well, I'm from Germany, hi. My name is Benedict, and, you know, I have been playing StarCraft for some time, and I have realized that with my previous career, it didn't give me the opportunity to fully explain myself, and with StarCraft 2 Heart of the Swarm, the game is so good that I want to join the team right now. I
yeah,
tell
he's
you,
got his own following. He's got his own clan, you know.
Yeah, when he says
follow
me,
Church, you know?
follow me on Twitter, it has a different meaning now.
Oh, a completely different meaning.
Oh yes. Right. So Pope jokes aside, I think he doesn't mind that. Pope jokes aside, we have Goody, who went for a faster refinery, which means he may opt in for a proxy factory with some Widowmine play, or just for a similar push to what we saw the last game with a couple of Marauders, couple of Marines, a couple of Widowmines, which turns out to be very strong. On the other side of the map we have Sage with 2 Gas Geysers, so I'm quite sure he will opt in for some tech before he goes expand.
He's doing something really interesting. I don't know if this is a mistake, but he has 2 on 1 geyser and 3 on the other geyser, which is pretty interesting.
No, he always does that.
No, he usually does 2 and 2.
No.
Yeah, usually does 2 and 2. He did 2 and 3 in this case.
Yeah,
which is very specific. You know, it's super duper specific.
I saw him doing that all the time, and a pylon to block out the add-on on the barracks just to delay it.
Very nice.
And I think he realizes what Goody is after because he saw the timing on the barracks, and Goody didn't even try to hide it that he went for the refinery first. And by the way, if you go refinery first, there usually isn't much of a chance for you to wall off your own base, so you get scouted anyway. That's the trade-off. And Goody right now will kind of switch places between the barracks and the factory, and he may have just made up his mind to do something else. He is building a Hellion because, as you just saw, the fact that you know Sage placed a pylon here has delayed, you know, has kind of tripped Goody and missed his timing.
Yeah. So he plans it out. He knows that he can make a little change there. But it looks like he's actually putting out 2 at a time, 2 of the Mariners at a time. So that will work out quite well.
Yeah, and we have a Widowmine after all. So this Hellion probably is just a decoy to show the Sage that, you know, yeah, I changed my game plan. Or maybe he just wants to use it for scouting. You know, we casters, we do a lot of guessing work, so and especially considering the fact that this is Heart of the Swarm, a lot of things are not even written in sand, not to mention the stone. So
absolutely true.
So you know, we may see a lot of new things, and I expect to see a lot of new things, to be honest.
Yep. So we got the Mothership Core out. Not going to put any pressure on this time with a Mothership Core. A lot of players, including Sage, like to do that 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, 1 Mothership Core pressure, but he's putting out a Sentry right now, so a little bit more of a defensive posture. Both players getting up on their 2 bases.
Yeah, and Goody going for a triple command center. That's very ballsy at this stage of the game. And now I see what I see what you did there. So with this missed timing, he just thought, okay, I'm not going for a push. I was going for a push, but now I will just use the force. Use the force, Luke. I will use the force I have, which is the Widowmine, to defend, and that's it. So he's going to defend with Widowmines, and that, I think he should make a success out of it.
Yep. Widowmine's great at attacking, also very great at defending. Good at holding positions and holding choke points and things like that. Very similar to the way that lurkers were in Brood War.
Oh, the lurkers.
Did you know that in the Q&A they said that they thought about putting him in lurker, and they decided that it wasn't bringing enough to the game to put it in. Almost cried. It's so sad.
Well, I think Lurker was one of the best units in Brood War. I understand why they didn't bring the how was it called?
Yeah.
The Wraith in for the Terran or things like Goliaths, because, you know, there are a bunch of new units and some of the old ones wouldn't make sense too much in multiplayer. But the Lurker, I think that would be a worthy addition to the Swarm.
Yep.
So anyway,
maybe Legacy of the Void. We can dream.
yeah, maybe.
Push coming out from Sage in the meantime, though. He's
then
bringing out a Warp Prism.
Oh, with the Observer, a very nice pick of the Widowmine is definitely possible, and Goody tried to counteract with a turret, but it didn't work after all, and right now Goody is on his back foot trying to defend this, but with Immortals tanking the damage from siege tanks, it may not be possible for Goody to stand too long opposed to all of this force coming from Sage. And you know, Sage went for a very strong play out of 2 bases. Now he's going for a timing push, and that timing push, to be honest, did a lot more damage than it should have.
Yep, I was counting on Goody to have some tanks, brought those Immortals in, and they're doing really well.
Oh, when the Immortal
rush through tanks.
The Immortal goes down. I think Goody has dealt with the threat. And by the way, the reason why Goody seems to be losing it is that he went for the triple command center, which is a very high risk. If going for an expansion isn't risky, and we all know it is, then going for a triple command says, you know, I'm very confident, and or at least I will try to surprise you.
Something coming around in the back of the base. Looks like a Warp Prism drop in the main of Goody.
But with the Hellion, with the siege tank here, he should be able to clear it up pretty nicely. Now, of course, what will Sage do is he will swing around and try to attack from the front. But with a couple of units he has, I'm not really convinced that he will have much of a success dealing damage here.
Sage at least keeping the pressure on. He's got 2 bases and.
What is happening? Did you see those stalkers that just dropped inside the mineral line to attract the splash damage from siege tanks? And Goody, I think he may be losing control of the situation, and that's not good, guys.
Oh wow,
that's so not good for Goody. If he manages,
lost the orbital command.
That's so important, because even if you lose a lot of workers, but you still have 3 command centers, you're able to drop mules, reproduce very fast. But if you lose one of them, you are basically screwed.
Yeah, this is really intense. In a matchup where we usually see in Heart of the Swarm the Terran player doing most of the harass, the Sage is all over the place with the multitasking, pushing up in the front. He's just not letting him take this natural expansion.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Still, Goody somewhat holds on. It's just by the edge, really. And I'm under the impression that, you know, he feels he's sinking, but he just keeps his head out above the water level right now and tries to climb back to the fragments of the sunk ship. But we'll see how it works for him.
Yeah, he just keeps. His tanks keep getting picked off, and he's losing that. He doesn't get to that critical mass where he can pretty much defend against any Protoss, anything. But the drop in the back, leave some carriers in the background being built up.
Holy moly, that's not so good for Goody. 4 units in the back dealing so much damage. This is not how it was supposed to go. And he just drops the units, Sage that is. He just drops the units knowing that the Warpers will fall. And there's a couple of units, a couple of stalkers, actually 1 stalker and 1 sentry making the way across the map. Maybe trying to attack, but Sage with perfect positioning. Sage is playing crazy this game. I mean, his positioning, his timings, the way he chooses to attack, it's all so good that even Goody isn't able to deal with it.
Yep, in the interview from Root, a lot of the other Root players, when they were asked to name the best player on the Root team, a lot of them said Sage, and it's pretty clear why they're saying that in this game, just really performing well and outplaying Goody.
We start to understand why they said so. By the way, I really admire Goody's play, because he's just clinging to the game and not wanting to let go, just all for the sake of the audience or for the sake of your entertainment, guys. So if this would be a huge LAN tournament, I would ask you to give him a cheer. If, you know, since this is not a LAN tournament, you can just type in, you know, good, well done, Goody, and I'll just paste that to him on the chat later on, and then give him some encouragement for the upcoming game.
Yeah, he's going to try to hold with tanks and Widow Mines. 3 bases already up for Sage, and a couple of carriers moving across the map. This is going to be tough. We do have Vikings coming out from Goody, so he's starting to build up the units that he needs to defend this, but it's going to be very difficult with his lack of economy.
Again, your diplomacy skills are at least at Grandmaster levels. He doesn't have anything in his base. Defending carriers will be problematic. I really like that skill of yours. So anyway...
Oh, the Widow Mine. A couple of shots, but they're not on the carriers, unfortunately.
Yes. I mean, if the Widow Mines would go off in the face of the Interceptors, that would actually pose a chance for Goody, but no, they don't. So another game, and Sage goes up in the rankings, and he is 4 victories to 1 of Goody right now. Very good game so far, intense and heavy in action. So, well, the only thing I've got to say is let's wait what they show us in the next game. I wonder what the map is going to be, but for Sage, he needs to take just 1 more victory to win this show match, and he'll be off, flying back to Korea from the American server with $100 in his pocket. Goody will of course get a reconciliation prize if that happens, but I would still love to see the full best of 9, all the games played. So, by the way, guys, just to sum up what we're doing here, this is a week of Jäger's TV promotion and huge Heart of the Swarm giveaways, because we love Heart of the Swarm. We want to promote Heart of the Swarm, so tell your friends about us. Tell your friends, wow, this crazy dude on the internet is giving away Heart of the Swarm copies for you. So just tune in and watch, and if you follow us on Twitch, Twitter, all of that, you know, social media, you are able to get 1 copy of Heart of the Swarm for you, or your friends, or family, or girlfriends. And by the way, with me is the Jack Attack. He's my favorite co-caster. So if you,
your favorite?
Yeah, I wanted to wait.
Nice of you to say.
I wanted to wait with saying that until you're gone, but now I spilled all the beans. So so anyway, guys, you can give him a cheer by following him too. I'm sure he'll be pasting links on the chat channel right now. I hope you enjoyed the cast. I hope you're enjoying this as immensely as we are. And we'll be right back after a short break in which the players will decide what the next map is going to be. I see there are some questions on the chat, so to give you an answer, guys, the next show, so the game is being hosted right now. So after this, after we finish this series, the next series will take place at 9 p.m. CET. You can, I'm quite sure you can translate that into your own time zone, and yeah, and after we're finished with the series, we will draw one copy of Heart of the Swarm amongst the viewers who follow us. So make sure you follow, because if you don't, you may miss your opportunity. And after that, we will do the same after Nerd Show versus Snoot. That will take place later in the evening. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any feedback, by the way, this is very important. So accept all the opportunities that we're giving you this week to win a Heart of the Swarm copy. There is also one more to get it. What you need to do is just submit some feedback about me, about the Jack Attack, about our casting, the show itself, the content, whatever you like. Just be honest and frank and say, you know, I like this, I don't very much like this, so if you could please try to balance these out, it would be very good. So if you go to Team Liquid, to the thread I have pasted on the chat right now, and you submit feedback there, it would be awesome, and I will really appreciate it. And we'll be drawing one copy of Heart of the Swarm every 2 weeks for people who just submit feedback. That's because we love you, and that's because we care for your opinions. Alright, Jack, you with me?
I'm here.
That's awesome. So we have the next game, Goody, 1 against 4 points from Sage. It's looking rough for Goody, especially considering the fact that he has been playing so nicely tonight. I mean, I don't even know what exactly he should have done better. Sage just outplayed him. Sage is a very difficult player to play against. He will be participating in multiple show matches this week, so we will be able to enjoy even more of his games. But still, Goody has shown some extreme skill this week, and I just don't know what exactly went wrong here.
Yeah, it's just Sage is an excellent harasser, multitasker, multi-pronged harasser. Really just getting Goody out of position over and over again last game. Really expertly done. Goody's going to have to figure out a way to combat that. He's going to have to figure out a way to weather the storm or put some pressure back onto the root Sage.
Yeah, and by the way, Sage doesn't let go. Even if the situation looks very desperate for him, he still harasses, he still does some drops. You know, he's being relentless, and that, I think, is one of the major strengths we could identify of his gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. Both very tenacious players. And we look like pretty classic 1 Rax expand coming out of Goody. Nothing particularly different coming out of Sage yet, taking his double gas on 16 like he normally does.
Yeah, you know, if Sage could speak some English, I would like to ask him about the simulator, but unfortunately, as most Koreans, he has trouble with English. I think the last time when I spoke with Sage, I had to use Google Translate, and I was basically posting him translated Korean sentences. I didn't even know if they have been translated well. It was just the only option to talk with him about something more complicated than Let's Go or Host them up.
Yeah. This time he's going right to 3 and 3, so maybe we'll see a little bit more tech than usual out of Sage.
Do you see what I see?
Maybe we'll see a proxy. What do you think? Proxy.
Stargate.
Yeah.
Proxy Stargate with Oracle play. My favorite Protoss build right now, proxy Stargate play, and what I will do after this game, when I start practicing multiplayer, to be honest, I will just analyze this game and I will copy the build order from Sage, because I'm sure he has it down better than I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you use the Sage, if you can execute the proxy Stargate that Sage uses, you will have many successes on the ladder.
Yeah. So Sage right now, yeah, will support that with a couple of stalkers. The question is, because I think that's the main deviation that can happen from a Protoss side. Will he go for 3 gateways to adapt to his force and try to get a kill right away, or will he go for an expansion and then supply his attack with 3 additional gateways? There's a huge difference between these two options because if you go for the gateways after the expansion, well, your army is not so strong anymore. You mainly rely on on oracles for doing damage, and we will have the first oracle hitting its target in a couple of seconds here, guys. We will see how much damage will it deal, and also we saw Goody earlier on dealing with this pretty well, but then he had a Widow Mine. Now he doesn't even have a factory, only a couple of Marines to deal with that harassment, and as we know, Marines just explode like teddy bears when consulted with the oracle.
Yep, takes about, I believe, either
2
5
shots.
or 6 Marines to take down 1 Oracle, and there's going to be 2 here pretty soon. But unfortunately, this Oracle's out of energy, so it's not going to be able to fire at all.
Very nice.
For a little while.
So what Goody basically done is he reacted very fast with the workers. He didn't lose too many of them, only 3. That's a nice count, you know, thinking about how much this Sage have to invest in all of this. Sage will follow up with another Oracle, may try to go for some Marine kills, because 2 Oracles are pretty strong against a small force of Marines, but Goody, with nice positioning, was just able to defend it. Now, the problem that right now Goody has is that Sage is harassing him from both sides, and you know, you need to balance out your defenses. You don't want to lose too much, too many eggs in one basket, and you don't want to risk too much as well. So anyway, there's a missile turret. I think Goody should go for a factory and get a Widow Mine now. And oh, the Oracles deal so much damage, and the Marines are barely alive. The 1 Oracle will not go down. Oh my god, it survives, and now they will just be able to wreak havoc in the mineral line, trying to draw it too close to the missile turret. It doesn't work on Sage, I'm afraid. And another Oracle harassing the natural. Oh, this is not looking good. And we have a GG.
Oh, GG.
Oh.
Relentless aggression from Sage takes him down again.
With some very solid harassment, guys, Sage was just able to outplay Goody. Even though I think Goody is a new brand of a player right now in Heart of the Swarm, and I really look forward to seeing how his career progresses. Sage was just stronger today, and some of the games were extremely close, and you know, it has just been to the last bits, the last drops of their blood, but still Sage was able to take the victories, and now Goody has lost 5-1, and yeah, that's it for the show match. So guys, I'm proud to announce that we have 666 viewers. I think, you know, someone will try to find a conspiracy theory in here, but not we. We'll just go on and give out a Heart of the Swarm copy for you guys. So let me just say goodbye for all of you who are watching this on YouTube, and with those of you who are watching this live, I'll be back in a second to explain what we'll do and give you a Heart of the Swarm copy. Woohoo! Rightio.